Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Pageant Mag Philippines live sessions. So, yours truly, once again, Francois is your pageant correspondent. So, I'll be alone once again for tonight, and please stay with me, with my guests, rather. And we are live simultaneously on Facebook, on our Facebook page, and on our YouTube channel. So, if you are new to our YouTube channel, I'm sorry, nabubulol ako. Please do subscribe and click the bell notification and follow and like our Facebook page as well for more pageant updates. So we are also on Instagram and on TikTok. So please follow us on all our social media platforms. Now, guys, if you have any questions prepared, please don't hesitate to drop your questions down below at the comment section. Okay? So I believe that you are very much excited to meet our guest for tonight. So our esteemed guest for tonight is Miss Philippines Earth 2021 candidate hailing from Digos City. She is a 27-year-old and a civil engineer by profession. She's currently taking up law as of the moment, and she's also working as a government engineer in a water utility service provider. So she focuses on her advocacy rather is focused on watershed protection and rehabilitation. So we'll be talking more about her advocacy later on during the interview. So, please help me to welcome our tonight's guest with a virtual applause. Give it up for Diga City's pride, Irish Ebuen. Hello, Irish. Good evening.
Hi, Sir Francois. Good evening. Good evening sa mga viewers ng Pageant Mag Philippines.
hmm Yeah, thank you so much for sparing a time with us. We are very much honored and grateful for your positive response on this invitation.
It is my honor po, sir, to have this opportunity po.
Hmm. So, Irish, we have already mentioned some information about you a while back. So I believe that this information that we have you have provided for us is not really that enough for us to get to know you well. So can you just give us some more information or some interesting facts that we don't know about you?
Well, aside for the fact that I am working in a male-dominant profession, working as an engineer, my hobbies includes outdoor activities. I really enjoy doing outdoor activities. I am into climbing mountains. In fact, I just summit the tallest mountain in the Philippines, the Mount Apo summit. I enjoy trekking, hiking, backpacking. That is my currently the hobby that I am into. I also enjoy cooking, baking, and reading. And also, I could say that I am into writing. In fact, during the talent competition of Miss Philippines Earth, I wrote my own oration piece. So that
Mm.
is, yes, yes. So I think that is my diverse personality, being outdoor and being or enjoying staying at home doing stuffs.
Uh, oh my God. So seemingly that you are very much busy, whichever I mean, in whatever way, or it might be in an outdoor or either in an indoor. So kakaiba ha. Parang ano pa ba? May love life
Thank you.
ba?
Yes po.
Buti naman hindi nakalimutan, no?
Ay, oo.
Anyway, um, to all our viewers, thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you to Corn Betita Abelia Jr. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, I'm just I'm just curious, Irish, if Miss Earth Philippines or Miss Philippines Earth is your first pageant. Is the first pageant that you have joined.
Yes, I would say that this is
Mhm.
my first national pageant, but this
Mhm.
is my second time joining beauty pageants because unlike other girls who I'm competing with, I am not really into beauty pageants before. Like
Mhm.
I said, I'm more inclined in a male dominant field. And so
Mhm.
I could say that this is really a first for me, and I'm so blessed and thankful to be able to join a national pageant off on my second time joining pageant.
And what was the first pageant that you have joined, or what was the last pageant that you have joined before Miss Philippines Earth?
Actually, I have joined Mutyan Davao 2019, where I
Mhm.
was um, able to reach semis. That was my
Mhm.
first time joining pageant, local pageant
So,
in Davao.
so back then it was still live, and yeah, you are
Yes,
competing together live, right?
yeah, it was a
Mm-hmm.
physical pageant then.
There was no restriction back then. So, if you try to compare that experience from from a pageant that there was no restriction at all to the online pageant that you are doing right now, can you tell us more about your experience?
Well, since it was my first time joining pageants then, and it was a
Mhm.
physical pageant, I would say that it was really nervous. The kind of thrill and nervousness combined together in a physical pageant, and I am also a first timer. But there
Mhm.
are different kinds of demands. Back then, you have physical demands, being always
Mhm.
present in a physical pageant. But here in a virtual pageant, it also demands a kind of um, social impulse that you have to be always present or you have to be always visible socially to be able to attend to the focus to your online audience, to the people. You have to, it is quite challenging to become creative and resourceful in this virtual pageant. Actually.
So it's more of social media interactions, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, how do you find the social media interactions or preparing your stuff for Miss Philippines Earth? How
To
did
be
you find
honest,
it?
it was very, on my part, it was very challenging since I am not a public person. I have not been socially active. Actually, my social media has been active just because of this pageant, and it was very hard for me to reach people, to share my advocacy socially, especially that I am starting from scratch without
Mm-hmm.
support system, without fans, if you call it, without. But it is
Mm-hmm.
a I was able to overcome it with the help of my friends, and I am really thankful for that. They keep on sharing things that I do online, and I am very thankful for them.
Mm-hmm. So somehow, no, parang it is really more challenging when it is online, when it's done online.
Yes,
Okay. Now, you have mentioned earlier that you are working on a male-dominated
profession.
environment, right? Working
Yes, sir.
environment. So, can you tell us more about this? How do, how does it like how does it like when working with this male-dominated working environment?
Well, for me, I'm feeling proud because
Mm-hmm.
well, engineer before. When we say taking up engineer, they always say that it is for men. It is a male-dominated profession. That women should be working in office, if not from home. And I always wanted to break that stereotype that we are
Mm-hmm.
limitless. We can be anything we want to be. And actually, to be honest, the first job I landed, I was assigned in field. I was able to interact with people of different personality. They are men, older than me. I was able to supervise them. It was I feel scared at first if they will listen to me since I am still young then and I'm a female, but I believed in myself. I got my license in a fair way, and I know that I am capable of doing things Not because society dictates that it is a male dominant profession, I am not able to do it. So now, when they ask me about my profession, it may not seem obvious from my outer appearance, but I am proud to say that I am an engineer.
Oh, wow, di ba? Ang galing-galing naman nun. Hmm. So, given those credentials that you already have and the success in work that you already have, Irish, what motivated you to join Miss Philippines Earth, despite those successes that you already have at a very young age?
So, like I said, I am the kind of person who always wants to make a stereotype. I always wanted to do something, or I always challenge myself to do things which the society dictates that I am not capable of, or I am not enough to do that. And since I have not been into this kind of industry and this kind of life, I challenge myself and I know that I have something to bring to contribute, especially that if I were to engage myself in this beauty pageant, might as well engage myself in something relevant, in something where I can leave footprints worth following, if you would say like that. And
Mhm.
maybe that's why I joined Miss Philippines Earth because I
Oh,
also think that my educational background it is an edge, and I believe that I can use that power.
see now. Now at least you are giving us a little enlightenment of your advocacy as of now. So you're like giving us a glimpse of your advocacy. Okay, but before we proceed to that, Irish, we'll be let's try to get to know you more with our "Have you ever had" game. So I believe you're familiar with this. Would you like to start
Yes,
the game now? Okay,
I'm
so here we
sure.
go.
Anytime.
have you have you ever had worn an oversized or undersized pair of shoes?
I have wear an undersized shoes actually. No,
Undersized.
oversized shoe actually because for my height, for my height, I have quite small size. I am size 7, but usually they assume because of my height, they assume that I am something 8 or 9. So when I receive gifts, somehow larger than what fits me.
Nakakatawa. And that is not for your daily use, right?
It was when I was working in the field, we were issued safety shoes.
Oh, I
So that's
see.
oh yeah.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
that's
kaya. Mm-mm-mm.
yeah.
So that okay. How about have you ever had sneaked out from home?
I have not. I have not sneaked out from home, but I have
Girl,
sneaked out from school.
sneak out from school after school tapos gala, ganon.
Uh, oh my
How,
God.
yeah. How about have you ever had wished to be a boy? Have you ever
Every time I
wished to
have,
be a boy?
every time I have my period, every time I have my
Really?
period, that cramps, that dysmenorrhea thing, I often wish I'm a boy.
I often hear that from ladies. I often hear that
Yeah,
from ladies that whenever they are on period, or I
muscle
mean
cramp.
on their monthly period, they usually tell. I usually hear them, "Sana naging lalaki na lang ako."
Oh,
Nako, kung alam nyo lang.
ah,
How about have you ever had a crush on your instructor or professor, or back in high school, on your teacher?
yes, on the first day of class. But I didn't know that he was my professor then. I thought he was just one of my classmates because he is too young. So he was my first class, the first day of class.
So this was in college then.
Yeah, first year college.
Diba? So, ayan, marami na tayong Nabubuking ka yan, no? Ka-Irish. How about have you ever had worn your sister's dress?
Yes, often.
Ano yung sinasabi niya?
Pagkatapos ko na gamitin, dun niya na malalaman, tapos nagagalit.
Wala na siyang nagawa.
I'm the eldest, but I can wear my second,
Younger
my
sisters.
yeah, younger sister's dresses.
How about have you ever had sold your any of your pre-loved items?
Yeah, I was bored during the pandemic. I did online pre-love selling of my old stuff.
But at least, di ba, pinakinabangan ng old stuff, di ba? Kesa ibabasura lang.
Yes,
How about have you ever had fallen in love with your best friend?
no, because
Never
my
was.
friends, actually my friends, they are, if not bisexual, they are gays. So that's my circle of friends. So it's so awkward to fall in love with them.
Grabe siya.
Like there's sisters or brothers. That's the
Yeah,
feeling.
as always.
So they're
Have
so
you
fun
ever
to be
had
with.
have you ever had eaten a chicken intestine or chicken isaw?
I remember before because we used to have a barbecue stand. So, but now
Mm-mm.
not so often.
Ano talaga, masarap, di ba?
Yeah, five isaw.
Have you ever had too much fun at a party?
Party. What particular party? The only party I was able to attend was my graduation ball.
Oh, talaga?
Yeah,
Aside from
never.
that, so yung mga debut party ng mga kaklase mo never was?
No parties at all. Just ano, lumpia-lumpia, ganon.
Have you ever had tried cutting classes?
Yeah, when I was in college.
Ah,
Kasi
maraming
iba stuff
nakaka-relate sa'yo. Hmm,
in engineering, that's so usual.
talaga ba? Di ba?
Oo.
Academically, ano siya, di ba? Academically achiever. Kaya lang, di ba? Nag-ano din. Pero kapag academically achiever ka naman eh, hindi wala namang issue sa ano sa cutting classes eh.
Yeah,
'Di ba?
nakagraduate naman. So,
Mm. How about have you ever had
I don't
fallen
advise
asleep
it,
with
but I don't
uh,
advise it actually.
of course it's not good. Hmm. Have you ever had fallen asleep with your own with your gown and shoes on?
No, I have not gown, but maybe my field uniform. Because before when I was working, the my shift ends at usually 1 a.m., 12 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So my
Yeah.
body feels so tired, so I just sleep wherever I feel.
Hala. It happens
Yeah,
naman. It happens naman to everyone, no? Whew.
true.
So how was that? I think with those have you ever had and a, somehow an in-depth interview about his or about her rather about her profile. So I believe that gives us a little glimpse or somehow to get to know her. We already had known her a little bit better than how I introduced her. All right. So let's try to to entertain a question here, Irish. Okay. Are you ready with one of the questions given to you?
Ready when you are.
Okay, here we go. Here's the first question actually.
Hi, Irish. As your former Miss Philippines Earth Biggest City, my question for you is, do you think technology is hurting Mother Earth?
Oh, shock. I didn't expect her. Thank you, Grace. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. But, well, I would say that indeed, since the Industrial Revolution began, technology has been harming our environment, just as human has become the major perpetrator in the environment. But I don't think
Mhm,
that it is really the our greatest problem. In fact, technology helped us to overcome these barriers. Because even before technology, our ancestors, we wouldn't say
mhm,
that they have this harmonious relationship with the environment. They have malaria then, they have tsunamis, they have everything. But
mhm,
because of technology, we were able to overcome that, to find medicine, vaccines, and now we are, because of technology, we are finding alternatives. So if technology is hurting the environment, it is not because of the technology per se, but maybe it is because it is how we handle technology. If we use it to our
mhm,
advantage or if we use it as a tool against our
mhm.
existence.
So in a way, so in a simple way, or yeah, in a simple way, it's basically the abuse of technology that we currently have right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yes,
So yun lang talaga yung issue. Always, it always boils down to how responsible or well, how accountable the humans are on the use of every technology that we have actually. Hmm, tama ba?
yeah,
Oo. Ayun. So, pero there are technologies right now that are, trying to reduce their carbon emissions. Just like, say, for
yes,
example, in cars, diba? There are cars that are already eco-friendly cars, diba? And
yes. In
there are
fact,
also,
the-
mhm,
I would say that this renewable energy that we are discovering right now, this is product of technology.
yeah, and technology is also helpful for us to detect when there is something like tremors, something like, diba?
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
is true technology. So it's just like an abuse of
Yeah.
use, diba? Hmm. Okay, so before we proceed to the topic that I have prepared, there's another question here from one of your supporters.
Hi, this is Carla Supersoft from KF Cebu, and my question for you is if COVID 19 happens to be a person, what would you tell to COVID 19? Thank you.
So if COVID has to be a person, what will be your advice or what will you tell to COVID?
Thank you for that question, ma'am. Well, if COVID is a person, I would definitely tell him to relax because it keeps on evolving, it keeps on mutating. We find vaccines, we find solutions, but it keeps on mutating. So maybe I would tell it to relax and to give us humans time to break from it, to be. We're not even done from our vaccination. And then now there's Delta. It keeps on mutating.
Yeah, uh-huh. So it keeps on mutating, it keeps on feeding us more virus.
Yeah.
Yeah, please COVID. Stop it. All right. So we have so many social issues at the moment, Iris. However, let me start it with the pressing issue right now that we have, which is mining. So as of the moment, there are some advocacies or some actually clamor on the mining companies to stop. What is your opinion on this issue?
Actually, to be honest, I am not really with the total stoppage of mining industry because we all know that the Philippines is one of the contributors to the minerals that are exported worldwide, and this raw materials is used to create technologies, gadgets, batteries that we are even using right now. But I am pro responsible mining. And secondly, preventing mining operations is like depriving those people in those city who depends on that mining activities for their living. And I don't
Mm.
think that we should deprive these people and their family of a proper living for their sustenance. We should not put the blame on the people and take away their jobs, but rather put the responsibility and accountability to this mining industries to impose more taxes on them, to give the penalty on them for them to become more responsible and eco-friendly.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I could definitely agree with you that if we could only be very responsible on or if the companies or the mining companies could only be very responsible of the business on how to do mining properly, and somehow for every trees that they cut down, at least somehow they could replant to to hold the soil as well, because normally mining is the main cause of soil
Soil erosion.
erosion, right? Mhm. So hopefully they will get into they will meet in the middle, they meet halfway, and be more responsible of their actions as well. Do you have mining in Digos?
No, not mining. No, no, there is no
Mm,
mining.
I see. I think one of the issues in Digos is on um, zero waste. I think
Yeah, disposal,
zero waste disposal, right? Mhm.
proper waste disposal.
Yeah. How is this project that you have started in 2019? So, parang nag-research daw ako. Hindi naman. So, how is this project that, or somehow this move that you have actually started in 2019? What is the development or somehow the improvement of zero waste disposal project in Diga City?
Actually, currently in Digo City, we have this project called Cup of Life, where they
Mm-hmm.
encourage people, citizens, neighbors to donate their plastic cups, may it be cups from their restaurant takeouts, McDo, Jollibee cups, and donate it so that these cups could be used as a container for the seedlings for their another project called 1 Million Trees
Mm-hmm.
program. So this they are lessening or
Ah,
upcycling
mm-hmm.
this called Cup of Life to connect their another advocacy, which
Mm-hmm.
is 1 Million Tree program. So I am very, very proud of that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's actually nice, huh? Yeah,
Yes,
instead of throwing just throwing the trash, no, the disposable cup. So you are making use of it as um somehow for ang tawag doon, for planting
upcycling.
trees, di ba?
Yes.
Tama,
And we
bongga
wanted
yun
to
ah.
share this kind of um, project, not just in Liga City, so that others could also copy, if you say that, what they are
Mm-hmm.
doing, so that they could recycle at the same time they could reforest
Mm-hmm.
by actually they are aiming to plant 1 million trees by the end of 2021.
Wow, sana no, sana. Well, good luck to Diga City, and hopefully this will be achieved. Hmm. Okay, so what about on the coal plants? So coal plants are also being clamored by some movements, by other movements to somehow to stop or to put up some coal plants in areas that actually have coals, no? So what is your opinion about this coal plants to be established in other coal plant coal areas, coal rich
Actually,
areas?
Actually, I am against in these coal plants, even though we are trying to find ways because the increase in demand of energy is really increasing, especially now in this period. We can find another alternative instead of coal plants, which would emit a higher amount of carbon oxide in the atmosphere. We could resort to renewable energy. We have rich natural resources. Solar powers are unlimited, wind turbines. We can also, the Philippines is rich in oceans. We can use the ocean waves to produce energy. We have to be creative and be resourceful if we really wanted to make a change and help our environment cope up with its current detrimental situation, actually.
Yeah, you mentioned about the waves a while ago, wave energies a while ago.
Yes,
Actually, this is already happening in Batanes Island because I
yes,
mean Batanes, yeah, because they are actually using thermal energy. Because we all know that Batanes is an island, so they're rich in water, in oceans, right?
yes,
Ocean, yeah. So they are making use of that as their source of energy, a source of light.
yes. And
So
in fact,
hopefully you will be able to.
Philippines is an archipelago. We have rich oceans around us. So we
Mhm,
need to take advantage of it and make opportunities instead of resorting to something that would only damage our environment.
mhm. Yeah, especially on those areas that are coastal places, diba? And if we put coal plants to these areas, just like in Atimonan, wherein they are already making some movements to stop the I think it's just a proposal to put up a coal plant in Atimonan. So yeah, I think it is not only the land, the mainland that gets affected. However, it could also affect the bodies of water, which is especially the ocean in Quezon, right?
Yes,
Sana.
the chemicals would seep into the land, to the waters, to the
Mm-mm.
bodies of water.
As an engineer, Irish, can you tell us on how this process work, on how could affect the, um, the I mean the water, the bodies of water, and of course the mainland itself.
I am not so particular with the study with these chemicals, but I
Mm,
in building this infrastructure alone, it requires a lot of energy consumption. This requires this energy that we requires and the product of this construction. This is really detrimental to our environment. And if that so-called coal plants would be pursued, I think that we might be finding solution to one problem and but we are creating another problem. And I think
mm,
the cycle will just continue unless we really find something that is worth staying.
mm,
So,
ayun.
in an engineer's perspective, I would say that rather than building this kind of projects, we need to be more creative and build net zero infrastructures where the energy consumption, every time they
Mm,
consume something, they would also provide energy.
mm,
What I'm saying is that net zero buildings where there is solar power, there is solar power, they have this they are using renewable energy. So the energy that they are currently consuming, they are also producing energy that goes back to the environment, so that their
oo,
energy consumption is still zero. So that is very
oo.
healthy future for building and development.
Sustainability in a way,
Yes.
diba? Oh, ayun So narinig na natin yung yung engineer perspective, 'di ba? Climate change is still one of the topics that basically calling attentions as of the moment. However, there are still some people as well who don't believe on what we call climate change. So, as a Miss Philippines Earth candidate, how could you encourage or how could you convince these people who don't believe on the climate change?
Maybe I could say that people of yesterday, they always thought of climate change as a myth, but those people who experience the wrath of the nature, the wrath of global warming, they are those who are more inclined to believe in climate change. And in our current scenario, even this pandemic, the sudden rise of water temperature, the raining, the sudden drought. These are all experienced not by several people, but we all over the world are experiencing this. And the fact that we are experiencing this unnatural phenomenon, I think people would be more inclined to realize because they experience themselves. And I think when you fear something of happening, you have no choice but to believe. What we have to do is to give them the solution or give them knowledge and information on what should they do. Because I think in this current scenario, more people compared before, more people are more inclined to believing that climate change is real and it is existing, it is happening. So we need
Well,
to inform them.
mhm. Well, you just mentioned a while ago that there are some individuals or group of people who have already experienced what climate change is. Can you tell us more about this effect of the so-called climate change in order for us to understand that climate change is really happening?
I will not go so far. For example,
Mm-hmm.
this current pandemic. This
Mm-hmm.
pandemic might be a social issue, but according to studies, due to climate change, um, it it increased the transmission of wildlife pathogens to humans. So we need to admit to ourselves that because of climate change is also one of the contributors of this ongoing pandemic. So
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19, this we can say that COVID-19, this is not natural, but rather a wildlife pathogens that is transmitted to humans. So we could say that the fact that this kind of pandemic is happening to us right now, this is a product of climate change. Because
Oh.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm. How about the recent how do you call that, explosion of or eruption rather, the recent eruption of the Taal volcano, is that also a or an effect of climate change?
well, all volcanoes, every active volcanoes, I think that they have this kind of um, life cycle, so that they would um, vent the heat within them because they are sulfur beneath them. But because of climate change, we are accelerating the sudden heat increase in our atmosphere, and this affects the volcanoes who are already there is already heat inside them, and we are accelerating them. So we are accelerating the heat in the environment.
So it triggers the
Yeah,
volcano to somehow erupt kahit na wala
yeah,
sa oras.
yeah. It's normal things is not normal anymore.
See, guys, listen to those who are listen to the experts. How about global warming, Irish? So there are still people just like climate change don't also believe on global warming because perhaps they can feel they can't really feel what it means, or they don't know what it means by global warming. Can you tell us more about what global warming is?
I think that global warming is a result of climate change. Global warming is due to climate change, our atmosphere is not able to release these energies that we are consuming. This heat is trapped in our atmosphere, which results to global warming. And I think that this global warming or this sudden increase of heat in our atmosphere started during the rise of industrial revolution, where the energy demand from fuels, petroleums, LPGs, all this industrialization that is happening to us, this triggered the unusual acceleration of the heat in our environment. In fact, this is discussed in the Paris Agreement, where all countries commit to reach the maximum 2% degrees only by the end of 2050, I think. So that is the current target of all the nations involved in the Paris Agreement. Because the global heat that we are experiencing right now is really not normal, and if it exceeds 2%, then the Earth will become inhabitable.
Mm. So this also means that every human person needs to work on how to eliminate or prevent carbon emissions, right? Or
Yes,
somehow to help the environment to to get back into its normal cycle. So
yes.
if there's a child in front of you, say for example a 6-year-old child, so what can you advise to the 6-year-old child about loving environment towards having a better uh, t- I mean towards preventing global warming or climate change.
Well, 6 years old child, we need to be more um, creative in talking to them and explaining to them that the current environment that they are living right now, maybe I would explain it in a way that his toy, his toy would be taken away from him if he does not take care of it properly. So that is the same that goes the same with our environment. If we do not take care of our environment, it would be taken away from us. So that is how I would explain
Oh,
that to
diba?
6 year old.
Mm. Something that they could easily understand, diba? An
Yes.
approach that they can definitely grasp what we mean by mhm, what we mean by um, regret or neglecting environment. No? Hi to our Suki Laura Murky. She has a question actually. You frequently mention industrial revolution. What do you think is the most significant change happened during industrial revolution?
Well, industrial revolution, it is when the time where um, factories were established where these factories emits CO2s. Unlike before, where there is less demand of energy, but due to these factories, due to global development, due to demands of everything that we are using right now that is created in these factories and this establishment in these industries, that is where the sudden rise of carbon emission in the environment is recorded. Actually, it breaks the record of carbon emission. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is during the 1950s where it all began, the sudden rise of our carbon emission in the environment.
Ayon. Hindi ko masyadong naintindihan, Laura. Kaya lang masabi. Joke lang. That's self-explanatory, Laura. Ayon. So, aside from these environmental issues that we have already Irish, we also have some social issues that we are basically experiencing now. And one of which is actually rather about LGBTQIA discrimination. So, what should be done to prevent discrimination towards the community of LGBTQIA?
I think we need to have not just a tolerable city, but
Mm-hmm.
a city or an environment where we really accept. Because as much as I hate to admit it, in the Philippines, I cannot fully say that we accept them fully, but rather we just tolerated them. And I think that boundaries that we set, we are making them feel unaccepted. So we need to be more. If we wanted we raise feminism, racism, poverty. These people, they also have their own rights. So if we wanted our rights to be recognized, we need also to recognize the rights of other people.
So practically, it's more on considering equality to whatever gender we have, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what about the recent issue where actually it became it became viral. Okay, so the issue on allowing transgender or trans women to join traditional pageants, just like Miss Earth or Miss Philippines Earth.
Well, actually, I have answered this before. And I just answered now that we have to accept them because they have their own rights. But in the sense of joining beauty pageants, female pageants, male pageants, these pageants is where women showcase their talents, showcase their personality, their feminism. So we should not cross boundaries. We are accepted, but we also have to respect these boundaries because this is the only place where women can express themselves, can showcase themselves. There is a place for men to showcase themselves. There's also a place for this transgender women. It is not because they are not allowed to join this pageant, they are being discriminated, but rather we are setting boundaries so that we will be able to have a harmonious environment where we are not crossing boundaries, we are not offending anyone, but we are fully accepted.
That's right. So basically, it's respect.
Yes.
Respect on each gender, regardless of what we are basically trying to look forward to or trying to fight for. So at least respect on each gender. Is this what you are trying to point out?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, I could definitely agree with you as well. Well, as a host, it's not that I don't want to that I'm against of trans women to join traditional women, but for me, it's also a celebration of their womanhood.
Yes.
And yeah, yeah, trans women are women, but there are still boundaries, just like what you have mentioned. There's still a limit. There's still a limit to be considered as well.
Yes.
Um, on that particular area and that particular issue as well. Hmm?
Yes.
Okay, what else? So I think there are no more questions on our comment section. So I believe we can we can play the activity or no before that pala, before I forget, it's your advocacy. I forgot to ask about your advocacy. So can you tell us more about your advocacy, Irish? So you mentioned a while ago that your advocacy is more on or focused rather on how was it again? What was that?
Watershed
There you
protection.
go. It's focused on watershed protection and rehabilitation. So I think this is very much close to what we have already talked about earlier. So can you tell us
Yeah.
more about this advocacy?
First is I bring or rallying this advocacy because I have experienced or I have witnessed how essential water in our daily life, in our existence. And I am so particular in
Mhm.
watershed protection and rehabilitation because it is not just simply planting trees, because we could plant trees in our backyard, in the parks, in the schools, anywhere. But I am particular in our watershed protection because this watershed, this is where we get the waters that we drink. This is where the it is not only provides water for us, but it also serves as a flood control, a soil erosion control, and pollution control. And it also serves as a habitat for many living organisms, which are essential in the food chain. So I am so particular because nowadays, actually, when we talk about environmental protection, what is mainstream in the media and air reforestation, ban single-use plastic, pollution. But I have not heard so much of people talking about our watersheds, where in fact, this is where we get our basic necessity. This is where we get our waters. Um, I have always said this that if we do not protect our water cycle, no one would protect our life cycle. So that's it.
Oh, so can you enlighten us about watershed? When we speak of watershed, is that really the form or the bodies of water that we can only get or could only be the source of our drinking water or something like or somewhat
Actually, for those who are
or
confused,
what not rather.
a watershed is not a body of water. It is like a catch basin. It is like a catch basin. It is a large mass of land where it brings water to the streams, to the rivers, to the seas. It is like a natural filtration process.
Mhm.
So it is like a yeah, like I said, it is a natural filtration process because we cannot. just take water from ground or anywhere. This watersheds provides us a natural and potable, healthy drinking
Mm-hmm.
water. So without healthy watersheds, then the our ecosystem wouldn't be balanced. We can't get water in the oceans to drink to survive or to the rivers, and there will be no waters to provide for our daily necessities. So that is the purpose or the importance of these watersheds in our environment.
Mm, so, watershed basically coming from nature, correct? Like from the
Uh,
spring, from hot waters. Mhm.
No, but if you can imagine, it is like mountains. It's mountain. It is enclosed in a mountain. It is like a large basin of land where when it rains or where when it rains, it catches the water. It naturally filters the water before throwing the water in the streams, the rivers, the ocean. So those acid rains, those unhealthy chemicals in the in the water, in the rain that we are getting, it naturally filters the water before it um,
It
throws
flows
away the water.
to.
Or, yeah,
Mm. All right. So there you go. At
yeah,
least we were enlightened. We are enlightened with what it meant by watershed, guys. Okay. Okay. So, how have you been working with this? What do you call this? Advocacy. How have you been working? How long have you been working in it?
I have been exposed in this kind of reality when I started working in that water utility service provider. And I have engaged in their tree planting activity in this particular watershed area, protected watershed areas. In fact, where I am working right now, I am proud that they have this kind of initiative in adapting watersheds, where this watersheds, the trees there are protected. Illegal logging is prohibited there. The communities living in that area, we provide the company rather provides scholarship for their children so that they would voluntarily protect that protected area. So aside from
Hmm.
protecting our watersheds, we are also helping communities living
Yeah,
in that
parang.
area survive.
Mhm. So it's like one stone hitting two birds, no?
Yes, actually.
That's great. That's really very impressive, you know. Hmm. Do you have any questions about on her advocacy, guys? Seemingly no more. So let's move to our game, which I was very excited about to share. So just give me one quick moment right here. Let me just pull it for you. Let me just pull it up for you. Just one moment here. Oh, just one moment. Just give me one sec right here. I'm just
Yeah, sure.
pulling it up. Ay, nako. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in once again. And if you have if you have not yet liked our page, please do like and follow our Facebook page and subscribe as well on our YouTube channel. So as we are also live right now on YouTube simultaneously with our Facebook page. So just give me one quick moment right here, Irish. Okay, so I'm almost there. Medyo ano lang tayo sa internet kasi medyo nasa bundok ako ngayon. I want to apologize. Pasensya
It's
guys ha.
okay.
All right, so I think it's ready. So here you go. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see crowns. Ah, yeah.
Yes. So there you have. We have um, five crowns in here. The five crowns in Miss Philippines Earth. So that all the Miss Philippines Earth air, fire, water, and ecotourism, including the Miss Philippines Earth crown. Now, I'm only asking you to pick three one after the other, and then each crown has actually a corresponding video that we can look into and that you can make a comment or a reaction. Okay? Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Okay. So ako talaga ha. Hindi ako sasagot ha. So, which crown do you want to pick first?
Miss Philippines Earth Crown.
Perfect. So here we go. Oh, one moment. So I believe you've seen the video.
Yes. There's
So,
so much happening in the video actually, but if I were to point out, first there is a sudden explosion of a cargo
mhm,
ship, if I'm not mistaken,
mhm,
where it is expected to have been inspected, especially that I think it is docked in a um, slum area, near slum area. And second, there is oil spill which is very harmful to our marine biodiversity. For
mhm,
me, this oil spill, it might be this happening might be considered as an accident, but it is a man-made error which contributes to the um, marine to the life or to it threatens our marine biodiversity. And
mhm,
oil spills, this really affects especially the mammals and the birds in the oceans because this oil acts or it covers the oceans, which prevents the fishes under the sea um, sh- to shed some to have some light, to have
mhm,
something to breathe, and without sunlight, the fishes would die of hypothermia. And this oil,
mhm.
this would prevent the birds from repelling waters and actually threaten their life in the ocean.
That's right. Whew. What else can I say? All right. So, what's your second pick?
Water.
Water. Where's water? Here we go. All right. It's water. So, any comment?
I can see flooding. I can see flooding. But if I were to make an opinion, I think the perennial problem of flooding in the Philippines, maybe one of the contributors is because we are an archipelago. So our geographic attributes contributes to the flooding. But this successive flooding, I would say that it is not normal. It is not only because of the trash can, the accumulated trash in the environment, but it is also partially due to our we are an evolving country, though we are not. Philippines is not. I think I don't think we are overpopulated, but we have this
No.
sudden rise. We have this sudden rise of garbage in the environment. And I think since we are still in the phase of build program to keep up with the sudden rise of population, our old infrastructures cannot keep up with the sudden demands in the garbage that this old vintage is getting. So I think that is it should we should have a um, collaborative effort to prevent this flooding because we all know that Philippines is already prone to flooding and our
Yeah.
infrastructures cannot keep up with us and the government cannot do things alone. So to prevent this sudden flooding, we are the person who are affected with it. So we should also do our part, not just blame the government, the infrastructure, or the Philippines per se. So we need to do our part respectively.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially when you said that Philippines is not actually overpopulated. This is definitely correct because I can we can still see that there are still places that it hasn't been inhabited, right? So
Yeah,
I think, yeah, we still have so many places for inhabitants. So yeah, it is just right that we are not yet overpopulated. It's just that in some urban areas, there are just people that just come to urban areas and live in some informal settlers. So no, I'm not actually blaming the informal settlers, but the reason why they are living in the urban areas yet they're not doing anything at all, right?
yes, they should be doing their part.
Okay. Parang false hope kasi kapag ka nasa urban areas sila, nakakala na nandun na yung buhay eh. Diba? Magandang buhay na ino-offer. But in fact, mas marami sa probinsya. Anyway, let's move to the last pick.
Fire, fire,
Last pick. Yeah, last pick. Fire. Oh,
fire.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So here we go. All right. So it's basically the what we call that. It's basically the environment, the air during the lockdown and after the lockdown.
I can see in the video that it is comparing the air in Metro Manila, but I don't think that it is just happening in Metro Manila.
Yeah.
During lockdowns, most of the cities, I think, have had this reset button to breathe from the pollution. And I think that is the only good thing this pandemic has brought us. It allows our environment to breathe out. It's like a reset button for our environment, the pollution, less transportation, less people working in the industry, less energy consumption, and less carbon emissions. But I think that is the only good thing about it. And people, after since we are resilient, we easily adapt to problems. Now, our another problems is the increased use of plastic because we have become dependent. Because of this lockdown, we've become dependent in online transactions,
That's right.
wherein,
And of
yeah,
course, the masks.
the face mask, the face shield, all of those.
Yes, that's right. Hmm. Hopefully, we can be able to get away from the disposable face mask, right?
Yeah,
So that we can also, prevent so much carbon footprints.
yeah.
Whew. So there you go. How was it?
I was pressured. I was pressured to do comments, but it
Really?
was fun. It was fun, actually.
I really hope that you had fun with it. So, thank you so much for playing with my, how shall I say, kalokohan.
No, it was very fun and informative, of course.
Thank you so much for that. And would you like to give any message to anyone you would like to address to, or somehow to thank anyone? And of course, you may also take this opportunity for you to promote your causes and of course and your social media platforms.
First, I wanted to say thank you to my friends who were with me this whole time for an hour. My handler, and I have read in the comment section the tourism, our tourism head in Vigo City, Mom Perla made the Macalis Griffin. Thank you so much, Mom, for being with me. And to the local government unit of Vigo City, thank you so much. You were supportive of me. To my friends who never left me despite this challenging situation, and to my family, of course. And thank you so much, sir. Actually, I'm thankful for you for giving me this opportunity as well. Thank you so much, po.
Well, I'm more than grateful, Irish, for accepting our invitation as well, and of course the Miss Philippines Earth Organization, to the Carousel, to Ma'am Lorraine Shuk, and at the same time, Ma'am Mylene Misolas for giving us this opportunity as well to have you for tonight's session. So thank you so much once again. And before we end this live session, I also have someone here who wants to send their support or something like give you some words of encouragement. Okay, are you ready?
This I am not ready.
So here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Angel Basha from Davao City for the North Next Step model. I'm supporting Miss Irish Rebel representing Digo City for Miss Earth 2021. I love her and I really admire her for being an empowered and amazing woman. Go fight for the environment.
Hi, Iris
Wow.
Ebuen of Digos. Good luck sa journey mo sa title ng Miss Philippines Earth. Enjoy the contest.
Oh, how sweet! O, di ba?
Thank you. I didn't expect that, sir.
Alright. Ala siya, ala siya.
Oh,
So, there
thank
you
you.
You're welcome, Irish, and thank you so much as well to the people who have actually helped me gather those videos rather, especially to Corn Betita Abelia. Thank you so much, Corn, and to all our viewers, thank you so much for staying with us for more than an hour, and hopefully to have you once again tomorrow, okay, with another special guest. So once again, thank you guys. Have a great day to you, to everyone. Good night, everyone, and God bless you all. Bye.